dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Keaton Hall. Not much action in the mountains tonight, but severe storms and tornadoes have left a path of destruction in parts of the Mississippi Valley tonight, and some storms could be headed our way. First Alert meteorologist Evan Hatter joins us, tracking the very latest. Evan.
Well, Keaton, that's right. We continue to watch our First Alert Weather Day coverage as we head through the remainder of this evening. We are still under the level 3 enhanced risk for severe weather in our far western counties. East of that, from let's say Mount Vernon to about Hazard, that whole stretch in the yellow, the level 2 threat. East of that, the level 1 threat. Tornado threat here is low. It's never zero, but this is not the type of threat they dealt with out west tonight. High winds are going to be the main calling card with these storms as they head into tonight, with those gusty winds moving along this line of storms at 60 miles per hour or better. You can already see we're warming up, we're juicing up the atmosphere in the Cumberland Valley, 68 Monticello. Everybody else hovering around 60 or even lower than that as you head into parts of southwest Virginia. Out right now, yeah, we've got a few showers across portions of southern West Virginia, but those are moving out. Got some rumblers moving through right now from south of Campton to towards Jackson and along the Jackson-Owsley County line there north of Manchester as well. But this is some of the main action we're watching. Tornado-warned storms just south and east of Evansville, out toward Owensboro. That's going to move up the Ohio River, but look what's back out to the west. Several tornado warnings out toward Bloomington, Indiana, and this whole line is slowly getting its act together as part of a big-time weather system that's caused damage from parts of Tennessee and Arkansas up into Iowa and Illinois today. It has been a bad day for severe weather across the Mississippi Valley. Moderate risk runs from Chicago to down south of Memphis, a level 5 high risk still in place there. Let's track these storms as they move to the east. Well, as we head towards 1, 2 o'clock, they're just getting into parts of the Commonwealth. Now, by 2, 3 o'clock, it's the latest run of Future View showing those storms starting to move into the region. Any one of these will have the threat for gusty winds, heavy rain, and we can't rule out, especially further west, an isolated spin-up tornado. They start to lose their definition a little bit as they head to the east as those storms begin to move out and they outrun the best fuel to keep them going. But we still had plenty of wind energy to try to get that to the ground. So I'm thinking now 12 to 3, maybe a little later than that in the green area here in the western part of the region, central part of the mountains, 1 to 4 a.m. and further east than that after 4 to about 6 as that pushes out. Once we're done with the storms, but we're not done with the wind. Wind gusts 50 to 60 miles per hour, especially in the areas under a high wind warning in place as we head into the day tomorrow. Everybody's under a wind advisory tonight. Those winds starting to gust out there, 20, 30 miles an hour, and we're not done just yet. That wind gust trend you see up towards 50 to 60 miles per hour at times as we head through the day tomorrow. On that Community Trust Bank 7-day forecast, once this moves out tomorrow, we get a little bit of a tranquility back for Sunday and Monday. But we've already got another day highlighted for Tuesday and Wednesday. Looks like another threat for severe weather with another strong system moving into the nation's midsection. It's something we'll continue to watch as we head into early parts of next week. Keaton?
Thank you for keeping us updated, Evan. In the Little Rock, Arkansas metro area, a confirmed tornado touched down earlier today with state emergency management saying there's a high probability of multiple injuries and the danger isn't over. And as Shelley Malashi reports, the latest weather outbreak comes on the same day President Joe Biden toured storm-damaged Mississippi.
Tornado just went through.
Another dangerous and severe weather outbreak pounding the U.S.
Go, 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 go!
On Friday, the National Weather Service's Storm Prediction Center issuing a rare, high-risk level 5 out of 5 alert for parts of the Midwest and Mid-South, impacting nearly 3 million people.
Everything happened in like 5 seconds. It was like it came, boom, it was you hear a lot of commotion.
There's huge debris in the air.
Tornado watches were issued for 15 million people Friday, stretching from southern Arkansas to northern Iowa. In Little Rock, a confirmed tornado tearing down roofs, trees, and signs.
We got big semi-trucks are overturned here on the freeway.
The latest tornado outbreak comes on the same day President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden traveled to Mississippi to see the devastation left by last week's violent tornado, which killed at least 26 people and injured dozens of others across the southeast.
Unfortunately, I've been to too many sites like this over the last 2 years around the country.
The Bidens toured Rolling Fork and got a first-hand look at the destruction and spoke with residents impacted by the storm and promised the federal government will cover 100% of the cost of the state's emergency response for the next 30 days. I'm Shelley Malashi reporting.
Earlier today, Governor Andy Beshear declared a state of emergency in Kentucky due to the threat of severe weather. Governor Beshear warned that tornadoes were probable in western Kentucky, but the entire state would be hit by thunderstorms and damaging winds. On Friday, Governor Beshear signed 2 high-profile bills into law, one legalizing medical marijuana in Kentucky. The governor called up 3 Republicans to the podium to discuss the bill, highlighting the bipartisan nature of its passage. The governor says his executive order on cannabis will remain in place until the program starts in 2025. And the passage of House Bill 551 means Kentucky will join 36 states and the District of Columbia in legalizing sports betting. That's going to go into effect in late June. From there, the Kentucky Horse Racing Commission has 6 months to set up a sports wagering system in Kentucky. Now that this year's legislative session has officially come to a close, multiple bills were sent to the governor's desk this morning. WYMT's Olivia Calfee spoke with Senate President Robert Stivers and got his opinion on the recently passed medical marijuana legislation.
There weren't really people against it. It was just a comfort level to know, does it really help? And there will be studies in the next year by UK to say, yes, our University of Kentucky is now one of the leading institutions for research on cannabis.
Governor Beshear also signed House Bill 5 today, which will give a tax break to the bourbon industry. New tonight, a man was killed in Pulaski County today after his truck was hit by a train. The Pulaski County Sheriff tells us it happened at Ware Road and North Highway 1247 in Science Hill. He says 82-year-old George Moore was killed. No one else was hurt. The sheriff's office and coroner are now investigating the death. The military identified the soldiers killed in a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter crash Wednesday night. The service members range in age from 23 to 36. They were killed Wednesday night when the helicopters collided during a planned nighttime training exercise. It happened in Fort Campbell. None of the soldiers were from Kentucky. Governor Beshear ordered flags be lowered to half staff starting tomorrow morning through Monday. The Hazard community is mourning the loss of a former police officer. Charles Brotherton died on March 19th. He was a retired Hazard police officer, school resource officer, and he co-owned the pantry shelf alongside his wife, Susan Brotherton. Since then, Susan has continued to carry on the legacy of a beloved person.
And really, it hit me when he passed. The community, the outpouring, the police department, the fire department, the schools, they wanted to honor him. They came and helped with his funeral. That gives you a lot of inner peace that you made that difference in a town.
Susan said he touched many people's lives and was willing to do anything for those he loved. Gaddy's is going blue as its annual child abuse prevention program kicked off today in Pikeville. Mr. Gaddy's of Pikeville invited local child advocates and first responders for a day to celebrate the work that keeps kids safe and puts child abuse in the spotlight. From state advocates to workers from Judy's Place for Kids, organizers say the annual event is crucial for children and families, kicking off Child Abuse Prevention Month by showing the faces people can turn to.
And if we can make the area a safer place by bringing people aware of child abuse prevention and just let them know that it's okay to speak out. There's somebody there that's willing to listen.
The event is all about planting pinwheels and advancing advocacy. Hear more from those involved on our website, WYMT.com. Child abuse awareness advocates in the area point towards the drug epidemic as an issue in many reports they receive. Organizations specializing in addiction recovery are working with advocacy centers in the area to combat those issues. Care Cottage Director Pamela Carey says it's common to see a correlation between the two.
There is a definite correlation between the drug use and the abuse of children, and a lot of times human trafficking in this area is something as simple as, okay, you can have your way with my child in exchange for these drugs.
The Care Cottage covers 8 counties in the Kentucky River area. They're located on Cedar Street in Hazard. Security preparations are underway in Lower Manhattan ahead of former President Trump's arraignment next week. Sources tell CBS News the grand jury voted to indict him on more than 24 counts. CBS's Bradley Blackburn has details on the upcoming legal proceedings.
Former President Donald Trump is expected to surrender to authorities in New York on Tuesday, following his indictment by a Manhattan grand jury. There will be no plea deal, according to his attorney.
This is a case that would not have been brought against another individual in this country if his name wasn't Donald Trump.
CBS News has learned Trump will not be handcuffed, but will have his fingerprints and mugshot taken just before the arraignment. Sources say the indictment could include about 30 counts related to the alleged falsification of records involving hush money payments made to Stormy Daniels in 2016.
Paying hush money is not illegal. Falsifying business records is.
Columbia Law School professor John Coffey expects the trial to begin before the end of this year.
I suspect that Trump is going to try to postpone this trial until after the primaries. I think that will get a lot of resistance from the prosecution, and it denies the voters some fundamental information.
On Tuesday, more than 100 Secret Service agents will be working with other members of law enforcement as Trump travels here to the Manhattan Criminal Courthouse for the proceedings.
A lone wolf who is not bragging on social media that he's going to do this or going to do that. It's the unknown that's always a great concern.
Trump's possible primary opponents are strongly defending him.
The unprecedented indictment of a former president of the United States for a campaign finance issue is an outrage.
Trump is expected to return to Mar-a-Lago after Tuesday's arraignment. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Trump spent part of Friday posting social media attacks against Democrats and the Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg. Bragg shot back against Republicans who are claiming the investigation is potentially motivated, calling it baseless and inflammatory. Well, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Courtney Lane Brewer and Nate Johnson will have all the big sports stories of the week. Sports Overtime is coming your way right after this break.
WYMT News app offers alerts on breaking stories as they happen, customized to the categories you choose. The